Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 161 of the Stomp the Bus Show. I'm your host, Mark Harris, and the Sun Devils have a new men's basketball coach, and it's maybe the best option on the board. Randy Bennett, former St. Mary's men's basketball head coach, is coming to Tempe, coming back to Arizona, where he grew up. Mesa native, went to Westwood High School, played at Mesa Community College before playing at University of San Diego. 25 years at St. Mary's turned them into by far the second best team in the West Coast Conference, and always challenge Gonzaga really on a regular basis. And with these past in recent years, I mean, they've been a consistent tournament team. And this is the exact type of hire. This is exactly who I wanted. On the last episode, there was the talk of either him or Mark Madsen. Getting Mark Madsen would have been great. Not happening. And he's not leaving Cal, and that's fine. This is perfect. I've seen some fans who are upset that it's not a young coach. And to me, it is very easy for me to brush that aside. That just doesn't bother me in this. I think it would be lazy for Graham Rossini to just look at the landscape for every coaching hire and be like, okay, this coach has to be in the image of Kenny Dillingham and Molly Miller, right? That can't be the process behind it. You just have to pick the best coach. And by the way, Randy Bennett wanted to come here. And you could see in his official, quote that he gave out, like, this is a job that he wants to have. He's not just taking this because, it's a Power 5 job. No. This is a legit something that he wants. And I'll say a lot of stars have aligned to make this happen. And I'll kind of explain what I mean before diving into what this means for ASU. Before I do that, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Please rate and review on your podcast platform of choice. So it's clear, or not, I'm not going to say it's clear, but the recent shifts in conference realignment and who's in what conference, who's leaving conferences, I think that played into ASU's favor. One, ASU is in the Big 12, so it has the legitimacy to get a top tier mid-major coach. So that's one thing. But really what it is after the former Pac-12 died, the current Pac-12, got all these members. They got obviously Wazoo and Oregon State, and then you had Colorado State, Boise State, Fresno State, San Diego State, 6, and then they add Utah State later. They get Texas State, 8 for football. They add Gonzaga as well for basketball. And with Gonzaga, this is their last year in the West Coast Conference. Their last year. What does that mean for the West Coast Conference going forward? Well, it means they're not going to have these quad one opportunities to beat Gonzaga or potentially even lose to them close or something. No. Those days are over. You need to if you want to get to the tournament, you need to win the conference championship for the most part going forward. And so, funny enough, this is probably really good news for former ASU head coach Herb Sendek at Santa Clara. But since they will be the favorite for the West Coast Conference next year to win the tournament, they put the guys in the NBA. So that's a little side story, but getting Randy Bennett, it's just a great coup. And I really like that they've done this prior to some of these blue bloods getting squirrely and UNC potentially getting rid of Hubert Davis, and who knows if Kentucky does something crazy. I don't know, but just to get it locked in, to get because I don't know who they would have got. If for whatever reason Randy Bennett didn't want this job, then it's okay, do you get Eric Olin? And what if Eric Olin, then you just keep going down the list. But thankfully, none of that matters. We got our guy. And I think this is good. I'm not going to go into this for ASU men's basketball being like, this is going to blow up the program and this is going to be such a fundamentally awesome. Like, it's not so much that as it's just like, they will just be a better, more solid team going forward with the defensive identity that Bennett brings, the slow style of play, which I personally, I don't love that, but I want to win game. Like, I don't care. If ASU basketball becomes the equivalent of Iowa football, fine, right? Like, that's fine. Okay. Anything to just, and the Hurley era this last year was fine, but the years before were disastrous. And there's no disastrous on Randy Bennett's profile. There's maybe some years where they're like average-ish, and they haven't been like, they've struggled in the tournament in recent years, but like that, I will sign up for that. Like, honestly, he signed a 5-year deal, it was reported. If he makes, let's just say he's here for 4 years, he makes the tournament 2 out of 4 years, I'd take that. I would take that. You are now just more legitimate. And that's what this hire is really about. It's legitimizing your program and just becoming a better overall program and a more respected program. And you can see, if you're on Twitter, like, every person reacting to this, and it really got a lot of attention just because of how well known Randy Bennett is in the basketball community. Like, that was kind of an impressive part of this, is just how much praise ASU is getting for this. So, it's going to be an adjustment. We've seen the Hurley ball for 11 years, the good and the bad, or the bad and the good, as someone say. Like, it's been its own thing. And now it's a totally different thing with Randy Bennett, but it's an identity. And a lot of times these Hurley teams did not feel like they had identities at all, So that was an issue, obviously. And I'm kind of at a place where, like, yeah, like, it would be cool if we could keep Santiago Truett, or if you could keep Masamba Diop, or you keep, like, Bryce Ford. It'd be great to keep those guys, but a part of me just doesn't really care, And I'm not really, it's fine. Like, now it's like, okay, I don't really care about recruiting rankings as much anymore. And it's also different. Like, we don't know what Randy Bennett will recruit like at ASU, because he can get into more living rooms. He has access to a higher caliber of domestic player at ASU than he does at St. Mary's, even though St. Mary's has been a better program. But they've been a better program linked specifically to him, And so now he can come to a kid and be like, hey, like, we play a specific way. We think you can do this in our system. And hey, you're going to play at Allen Fieldhouse every year. You're going to play against Houston. You're going to play against Arizona. You're going to play Iowa State, like, all these top teams, these environments. Like, now, like, I feel like with the hiring of Randy Bennett, ASU was actually, like, fully joined the party in Big 12 basketball. That's a good way to put it. Because now it's not like, oh, like, yeah, like, maybe we can. Now you actually have hope of, like, we could be, like, the 6th best team in the Big 12 on a given year with him. That wouldn't be some crazy reality now. And, I mean, Big 12 is just tough with these coaches, man. Like, you look around, Utah's got Craig Smith. That's a tough one. Tad Boyle's a good coach at Colorado. Tough program. Or I'd say not tough. Not a good program. Everywhere else is, like, kind of set up. Maybe Oklahoma State, not so much, but they recently made a hire. Like, there's very few, like, gimmies in the Big 12, and ASU still might be one of those next year, but it's just going to be tough to beat. And, like, when ASU can get into situations where they're having teams play their way a lot with this slow, methodical style. They run, like, the Princeton offense, back cuts and passing. And, like, it's some of the things I don't like about college basketball, like some of the overcoaching. But at the same time, um, I don't know. It's not, it's just better than we've seen, right? I will take some overcoaching and some low final scores if it means we're just going to be a better program. And I think that's what's going to happen. So here's some stuff about Randy Bennett from the ASU men's basketball page for the video audience. I just think this is an awesome hire. And I think if you're, I think only being like, oh, it's not like Kenny, it's not like Molly. It's like, it doesn't have to be that. Like, I just think that you need to make the best hire in the given year that you're making the hire, you know? And so maybe there was someone better. Maybe there'll be someone way better next year or whatever it is. But like, this is just, I mean, look at this overall record. This is an over 70% winning percentage. 589, 228, 7-time West Coast Conference Coach of the Year. Again, with Mark Few in that conference. 12 tournament appearances, 5 straight years at St. Mary's. I think he has 7 tournament wins, 1 berth in the Sweet 16. So yeah, he's not always cashing in with winning in the tournament, but that's fine. Like, that's fine. This is not Dan Bickley had a column where he praised the hire or the potential hire at the time of Randy Bennett. And one of his key arguments in the column was like, they just need to be mid-tier. They need to be like the 8th best team in the Big 12. They need to be what UCF was this year. And that is not an unachievable goal. And Randy Bennett can get you to that spot. He can produce, if he just produces a bunch of 20-win seasons, give or take, right? Like 22 wins, 19 and 13, whatever it is, right? Like you get some upsets in there and like you're in the tournament, you know? And so I just really think that it's just, the program just becomes so much more solid. And you'll be able to add, because this guy like clearly knows what he's doing, you know? Like just the fact that he's done it for so long, like, and by the way, like the last game he played, oh, that was a semifinal. What? Okay. Well, he beat Gonzaga last time he played, beat him 70-59. And get to know this name. This is, oh, no. I'm not fully functioning right now. Okay. Get to know this name, which is Mikey Lewis, St. Mary's Gales guard. 14 points per game, dropped 31 on Gonzaga in their regular season win. A lot of the guys on the team, almost none of them are seniors. And so maybe like one of the better players is Paulius Murauskas from Lithuania. Maybe he's linked to some other program. But if you could get a guy who's averaging 18 points and 7 boards, like that would like get this Murauskas guy, that would be an excellent addition, right? You get Joshua Dent, 13 points per game from Australia. Like there's going to be a lot more Australian guys likely that come through. And so like, I don't know. This is not the most energy I've ever had on a show, but you look at the like 27-4 with wins over Gonzaga. And yeah, this isn't the best version of Gonzaga that we've seen. But again, like it's just a good place to be. Like this is going to get rave reviews from everyone who judges coaching hires, and it should. And like you go through conference play, you lose to Santa Clara once and Gonzaga once. Like, okay, beat Virginia Tech. Yeah, you lost to Vanderbilt, a good Vanderbilt team. Lose to Boise State by a point. That sucks. And then, yeah, you lose to Texas A&M, which sucks. And, yeah, like, it's not perfect. And I didn't love his press conference at the end of the year in which I don't know if he blamed the players, but he was just very and he wasn't like yelling either. It was more of just like an explanation, but just very like honest of like, well, like we didn't have like we didn't play with enough energy, we didn't do this and this, and it was like that's something that he'll have to explain for. And there's going to be more, even though I always talk about, oh, ASU men's basketball, like no one cares and all that. It's like, it's, there's some truth in that, but it's still going to be a much bigger spotlight here than it was at St. Mary's. Like, that's just clear, right? Like, even no matter what you want to say, like, it's still going from a mid major that is in the Bay Area, right? So it still has all the same issues of, being tucked away behind all these pro sports teams and the college teams there, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I just maybe not. It's not like maybe it doesn't go well. Maybe it's not perfect. I'm not. I don't have any expectation that like this is a flawless hire, but I don't know. What else did you want Graham Rossini to do? That's kind of the other part of this. Like, you want to hire Jace Coburn from Portland State? If Randy Bennett wanted the job, wanted to come here, then you would be insane to hire Jace Coburn over him. You know? Eric Olin, okay, then we're having a conversation. But again, if you're Eric Olin, maybe you just wait a year and you get a better job. Like, that's not crazy. And I was a little worried, not worried, but like when I saw that Jared Calhoun was going to Cincinnati earlier in the day, I was just a bit concerned of like, okay, like this is one guy off the board. And so now what? And then it just was okay. It's like, okay, fine. We're getting Randy Bennett. Like, this is a good way to put it. I know. Oh, I think Cartman tweeted it out. Okay, so I'll get that. So I think Rossini, I want to read Rossini's quote on here. This is from Graham Rossini from the ASU Athletics Twitter page. Coach Randy Bennett is one of the most accomplished and respected coaches in college basketball. We were drawn to his sustained success over multiple decades, his strong recruiting relationships across the country, you said the world, particularly on the West Coast and the West Coast of Australia, and his proven ability to identify and develop international talent. Well, there you go. Just as important, he brings a genuine enthusiasm for leading the Sun Devil men's basketball program. He has deep ties to the Valley, and we are thrilled to welcome Coach, his wife, Darlene, and their family to ASU. So that's a good, solid quote there from Rossini, who, by the way, like 2 major coaching hires under his belt, because Dillingham isn't him, and Bloomquist isn't him either, I don't believe. No, it's not. Molly Miller, no matter, like, home run. Because she brings the juice, she brings like the excitement, and she also turned around the program. And Bennett, like, yeah, Bennett doesn't quite bring the juice, and like he's not going to be quite. There's no way that Randy Bennett's going to be quite as like forward facing as Dillingham and Miller. But he's just a good coach. He just comes in with a much better background. Like there's just no argument for that, and so. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is Cartman. Here we go. Randy Bennett per ASU release. This is a really interesting quote to me. It was going to take a special situation for us to leave St. Mary's, and I'm energized, driven, and focused on taking over Sun Devil basketball, a program I'm very familiar with and grew up watching. We're in the best basketball conference in the nation, and I look forward to the opportunity, and I am excited to meet everyone who wants to help this program reach our goals in the new landscape. My staff and I will be ready for the challenge. This is what I want to see. My staff and I are ready for the challenge. And I like that he had a program I'm very familiar with and grew up watching. Like, that's a big deal as well. So again, you just kind of add all this up. You got to be happy about it. I don't know what to say. Like, what? It's hard for me to really come up with like a candidate who is clearly better that was out there and like that was going to take this job too. If you were really pounding the table for Eric Olin, okay, I could listen to that. No one else, because it seems like Madsen wasn't going to come here anyway. So yeah, like sure, it would be better if things were better, but like yeah, like it would be better if Randy Bennett was 53 instead of 63. But that doesn't really worry me. I don't really get some of these fans who are like, oh, well, he's not going to be here for the long haul. It's like the long haul? Why are you concerned about the long haul? You know? What are we doing? That's just such antiquated thinking. And sure, that doesn't mean like maybe Kenny Dillingham is at ASU for the long haul and he's here for another decade and even more. Like that would be great. But if he's not, like I'm still glad ASU hired him. I say on this show, like I root for University of Washington as my second school. Much more casual now, but that's the school I grew up rooting for, and I have some. I still want to see how they do. Hiring Kalen DeBoer worked out extremely well for University of Washington. I don't care that he left, just from like a accomplishment standpoint, other than, like you take it, just hire the best coach. That's it. And that's what Randy Bennett is. And I don't care that he may not be here for 15 years. I don't know. I do not care. A lot of college basketball coaches are old anyway. Rick Barnes at Tennessee is 71. And they're in the Sweet 16 again. Tom Izzo, Sweet 16 again. He's old. Rick Pitino, he's old. Sweet 16. Okay? It's not about like, oh, you have to be this young hot shot. It's like, well, Randy Bennett's learned a lot about like I just think that like just being always old, that doesn't really fly to me as like a legitimate reason to be upset about this. So, and that's really, I don't think that's many people, but it's not nobody. So we'll see how it plays out. Like, who knows? It may not work out, but you have to live the process of this hire. Like, just get someone who a lot of people know, a lot of teams have tried to get, a lot of people want. Syracuse just hired Jerry McNamara, their former player, but also the head coach of Siena, who, to his credit, almost beat Duke. But like, we don't know. Like, those types of hires can go very either way. When you hire the hot mid-major tournament coach, or low major, I guess in their case, but like, maybe they just had one good game. I don't want to discredit that, but like, that's like only Cincinnati getting Calhoun from Utah State. That's the only one where I look at like, hey, they made a better hire. Like, I am very happy with this hire, and I think he's going to do fairly well. Now, what does that mean for ASU? I don't know. I would, again, if he makes the tournament 2 times in 4 years and wins a game, okay, I would be happy with that. It's not perfect, but you gotta become decent before you can become good. Very rarely is it like Indiana football where you're bad and then you just take off to be one of the best in the country. Like, that's not really the way things work. So, yeah. All right. A few other sport thoughts. Baseball, love seeing them get the series road win over Kansas State. Landon Harrison's a beast. They are now ranked again. I think they're 22nd in the D1 baseball pool. So that's good. Spring practice is going on. The wide receivers look beastly, man. Omarion Miller, what an addition, along with Reed Harris and Vines Bright too. Some of the DBs look good. Not worried about a few picks from Cutter Boley here and there, like, especially since it seems pretty clear that he is by far the best quarterback we have. I'm not really worried about that. I think that Dillingham can just put him in the best position to succeed when it actually matters, by the way, because it's March right now. So no reason to worry about that. But like where the football program is right now. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Love that we got Randy Bennett. This is awesome. A lot of other coaches or programs would have wanted him over the years. So it's cool that we're the ones to get him. And yeah, go Devils. Please like and subscribe, rate and review on YouTube, and I'll catch you next time.